Hey everybody, this is Maple Notchman, and I've been asked to create a quick trading video on how I like to do some quick single hop trades to make some quick money. And so this is a pretty good technique that is very easy to do, and it's not very time consuming. And since the rebalance in 2021, the pay is actually pretty decent. You can make upwards of 100 million an hour doing this. So with the right ship and hauling as much cargo as you can. So let me kind of take you through what I like to do. Quick disclaimer, there are several different tools. There's different places you can go. Lots of people have different ways of doing this. I'm just showing you mine. Another popular site is EDDB database. There's a loop route calculator and stuff. I use this site a lot too, but my favorite way to do it is on Inara. Okay, and I have a couple favorite commodities that I like to trade that are usually really easy to find and can make pretty good scores pretty quick. So let me kind of walk you through that. If you come to the Inara commodities section and you're looking through the common commodities, you can kind of look at this max profit column. And a really good one lately has been agronomic treatments. Max profit 35K. Don't always trust this. You got to look through these because sometimes you might have a fleet carrier with some bogus amount or some station 6,000 light years away. Okay, so don't always trust this, but this is a good one right here. You can make a lot of money buying and selling these. Another good one that I like to do. Tritium, a lot of money can be made off that, but you know what? It's really hard to find, and I'm just going to skip it. As well as kind of obvious ones, gold and silver. A lot of people make money off those, and it can be really good if you happen to find some at a good price. But people are all over those, and it can be pretty tough. So I don't really bother with that one. Some of the ones that I do like to do, though. Let me see if I can find them here in the list, is Cryolite. So this guy right here, typically when I'm hauling Cryolite, I'm making about 20K a ton, and it's usually just a 1 or 2 jump trip. Disclaimer is that usually you have to buy it at a land settlement. And then also another good one that I like to trade is Pyrophyllite. I hope that's how you say that. And usually, like I said, you can make about 20K a ton off this one as well. So those are some that people don't really do, and there's lots of it around. So if you're just looking to get started in trading, that's a good way to go. Let's take a look at agronomic treatments. So all you do is come up here to the top right corner, pick agronomic treatments, and I'm going to put in Inara, our home system for the EDF. And the first thing I'm going to look at is the best imports. Okay? Well, actually, let's look at best exports first. So come over here to best exports. Exports are places where you can go to buy it. Okay? I'm going to filter carriers. And if you're going to use a large ship, you can filter the small pads. If you're using a small ship, because you're just getting started, or maybe you have a 300-ton Python you like to use, you can still make good money that way. Leave this one on, but since I'm going to use either a cutter or a Type 9, I'm going to hit Filter Small Pads. And then I'm going to organize this by the distance from my station, because I don't really feel like jumping all over the place. And so what I'm looking for now is someplace I can buy this cheap that's nearby. Okay, so here's one that's 85 light years away, so that'll be what, 3 or 4 jumps with 42,000 supply, but it has a super cruise of 1200 light seconds. That kind of sucks, so maybe I'm not going to do that one. Let's see what else we got, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Here's one that's 6,000 tons with a 500 super cruise. That's not too bad. And you just keep going through the list. Here's one, 9,000. So here's 9,000 tons that they have at 2561 purchase price, and 65 light seconds. Okay. So this, and it's not a land station. It's a starport. Great. So let's write down what this is. Grab a little notepad here. What was the station there? Arrhenius Station? Perfect. Okay, so that's our buying spot. Okay, so now to figure out where to sell, we have this copied because I hit the little copy button here. Okay, we're going to go back up to the corner, and now I'm going to put this in here, and then I'm going to hit search, and this time we're going to look at the imports, and I'm going to filter out the carriers, and I'm going to filter out the small pads because I've got a big ship, and then we're going to go distance, and we're going to look at this. So this one's kind of competitive today. We got some places paying 15. That's not a very good, I don't know. Buying it for, what was it, 2.4 and selling it for 15, that's not the profit we're looking for. Let's see if we can find any better spots. Maybe we'll try organizing by sell price. Okay, so here's a spot, 16,000 demand, but it's 200 light years away. Yuck. That's a terrible loop. It looks like, see, you could see that a lot of people are catching on to this one. Yeah, so you know what? Looking at this, I'm gonna cancel the agronomic treatments for today. Let's go look at Cryolite. So I'm going to change this to Cryolite. I'm going to go Inara and search. And let's go to exports, see if there's good places to buy it. They're nearby. And sure enough, here's Archimedes Prospect. That's 40 light seconds, jump in, super cruise range. And it's near Okanura. And it's got a good quantity. And 10Ks, 10.6K is okay. So let's write this information down here. Yep, we forgot to copy the system. Right, Archimedes Prospect. And maybe we'll even write down the price. So how about, what is it, 10.6K? All right. Okay, so let's go find some place to sell that's near that. Oh, something to keep in mind also is make sure you check when the last time it was updated. If it hasn't been updated in a couple days, then it could be old. So keep that in mind. That one, I happened to notice that it was only an hour or two old, so it seems like a pretty fresh place. All right, so let's find somewhere to sell. We're going to go by distance. So here's a place that has 30 light years away, 12,000 demand, which is plenty, for 29K. Okay, so that's going to be almost a 20K profit per ton. Here's a place that this might actually be better because it's 41 light years. Either way, in a Type 9, this is going to be 2 or 3 jumps, depending on your jump range and your engineering. But this one's only 18 seconds. For Tuan Orbital. They're both orbitals, they're not land bases. So we're probably going to go to this one. It was just updated 5 hours ago, by the way. So that's not too bad. It's worth taking a look. So I'm going to write this down. Tuan Orbital. And what's our price going to be? 29.4K? Okay. So if we bust out our calculator, we go 29.4 minus 10.6. So that's about 18.8 per ton. If you multiply that by 752, which is what my Type 9 gets, that's 14 million a run. Okay, so that's really not that bad. If it takes you, say, 15 minutes to do the loop, you can you can do 4 of them an hour. So now you're already in the ballpark of 60 million an hour. Okay. So that's pretty reasonable money for 2021 with the rebalance. And the effort is going to be minimal. You might get some NPC pirates that might try to interdict you. You can just either submit and warp off, or you can fight them, depending what ship you're in. You know, I prefer not to get interdicted ever, so I usually can win the interdiction even if I'm in a Type 9. So against the NPC. So that's just preference things. All right, so let's hop over to the game, and I'm going to go take you guys for a ride, and we're going to make some money. All right, guys, here I am on my Type 9 on my alt account, and we are jumping into LHS 229, which is the pickup destination. I've got an empty Type 9. I think it has maybe the FSD engineer, maybe. That's about it. May not even be fully engineered. Like I said, this is my alt account. Now I know from looking at Inara that this is a planetary base. So I'm going to dodge the sun here, and then I'm going to hop over here to navigation, go to filters, settlements and stations, don't need anything else, and we're looking for Archimedes Prospect. Okay, I'm going to use my little compass to get us on track here. Okay. Now, usually in Super Cruise I use the 7-second 75% throttle rule. However, for planetary landings, especially in this big heap, I prefer to go a little bit slower once I'm approaching the planet. We're also trying to take a 45 to 35 degree angle as we approach, so we'll want to be cautious of that. I don't know what the gravity is on this body, so we're also going to need to make sure and check that once we get into glide mode, because if it's high gravity, then we need to turn off our docking computer, because that'll kill us most likely, and we got to be really careful. You know, there's other ways. I could have just looked at the system map or something like that, but I mean, regardless of what the gravity is, I'm going to land here anyways, so we'll just check and see what it is when we get here. I like to approach kind of at an angle like this. That way I can see where it is. That way I can pop, you know, that 45 degree angle. I think this is going to be a pretty quick descent too. So I'm just going to get in position. Okay, so see right down here at the bottom of our HUD, it says 0.11 G. Okay, so this is a low gravity planet, so that's not a big deal. I like to stay nice and slow. I think this will be perfect, 45 degrees. Okay. And I'm just going to stay nice and slow, because if you go too fast, then it's going to mess up your glide speed, and it'll dump you out of Super Cruise. So you're pretty much just trying to hit this right on the money, somewhere between 35 to 45 degrees. We're kind of getting a little shallow. I might aim up a little bit, and then I'll aim down after a little while. And if you look where it says DRP, OC is when orbital cruise started. DRP is when we're going to drop into glide. So when we hit DRP, we should be doing 2.5 clicks per second. So, so you can see we're decelerating, and we're almost at 2.5 clicks per second. And as long as you're not going way too fast, then it's going to do that for you automatically. All right, so it looks like we're at 32 degrees. So we should this should drop us out pretty good. You know, the closer you drop out to the station, the faster you can haul the goods. Boom. And that dropped us out right within docking range. So I'm going to call request docking. And because I'm a lazy trader, I'm just going to let the auto dock do its thing. While we're doing that, I'm going to grab the system map. And we can actually come over here and we can we can bookmark this. There we go. So we'll bookmark this station. Boop. So this is going to be our buy point. That's going to really speed things up on our... Like if you're doing multiple trips, this is going to really speed things up. And if we actually land here and they don't have anything good, then we'll just delete the bookmark. Of course, these bookmarks, the bookmark's good today, while the supply lasts. Tomorrow it could be complete crap. So, definitely check Inara again when you look for a new route tomorrow. Or if you run out of supply here. You could also wait until you actually check the commodities market to bookmark too. Refuel, starport services. Alright, commodities. Okay, so we're going to check and see what's here. There's a little bit of gold. They actually have quite a bit of silver. I don't know if those prices are good or not. We could check. But we're actually looking Cryolite, 9.7K, or 9,700 supply, 10.6K. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Silver can be really good too. So, what I would do is I would come over here. Obviously, you can't see my screen. I am going to check silver really quick and see if we can make more than that 19K per ton off this silver. Because if we can, then we're going to haul some silver instead. So it's always good to, take a look. The other day, I found a station that had gold, like lots of gold, and I hauled all of it, and I was getting 20 million a haul. Yeah, so let's see here. So I'm seeing lots of places that are paying like 49K a ton. So if we pull up the calculator, we go 49.2 minus, what do they want for it? 33.9. Okay, so the silver here is only 15.3K a ton. So we're better off going with the Cryolite. Palladium is another one that you can find sometimes that can be really good. So palladium, gold. I've heard of people hauling stuff like cobalt and things like that as well. Yeah, sometimes you can find good. Bertrandite, I've heard, can be pretty good sometimes. This price is not very good, though. I wouldn't buy that. So let's take our load of Cryolite. So that costs about 8 million to fill up. And let me copy and paste our station we're going to go to. Hit the auto launch. While we're auto launching, I'm going to set course. Okay. Hopefully we're able to just jump out of here. We can skip Super Cruise, but who knows?
Detachment complete. Please exit the port confine.
Boost. We might be able to. Let's see if we can get some height here. So you want to come up to 90 degrees up. That way you're perpendicular to the planet. This is also where your escape vector is going to be. Okay, we're no longer mass locked, and it's letting me charge. Perfect. So I don't even have to jump into Super Cruise. I can just jump straight out of here. Charging's almost done, so I'm going to maneuver this beast and align with the target. Sometimes I boost to get aligned. And we're overheating a little bit. Who cares? Seriously. 100%, 120%, like the amount of damage you take is so minimal, who cares? I know that sounds terrible, but... Okay, so we're on the top half of the star, so we're going to dodge up. And we're going to take a tangential line to the star, that way we clear the star the fastest. And you can see we're clear because our temperature is going down, and the star is no longer big on our radar. So we'll charge our FSD. Looks like this has taken me a couple jumps. because my jump range is horrendous. That's okay. At least jumping back empty will get you back to the Cryolite pretty fast. There's places where you can find trade routes in Inara where it will generate a return trade route too, but what I've found is that the return isn't really worth taking because, you know, a full ship adds a jump or two to get back, and the commodity just isn't very expensive. So I usually jump back empty, unless it's a really good loop. And I think we got one more. Oh no, wait, this is the system. So now we want Tuan Orbital. Okay, let's see where that is. We're going to change to 75% throttle in the optimal zone, so this big beast will turn. Then full throttle. Then back to 75% throttle. And we're just going to sail right in. One thing you can also try to do that might shorten up your time is try and align with the slot while you're in Super Cruise. Because in that little picture down here, you can actually get aligned with the slot. Ooh, that's kind of a binary. That kind of... We're not going to mess around with that too much. We're just going to go straight for the station. I don't want to get sucked into the gravity of those two bodies. That'll really slow us down. But yeah, you can sometimes align with the slot while you're in Super Cruise. And especially if you're smuggling, that'll save you a lot of time. Because you can just zoom right into the slot. You know, silent running. Okay. So the best way to find the slot on these is see how it's rotating. So you look at the axis of rotation, which is from here down, and we can see the backside, you know, right here doesn't have the starport, and it has red blinking lights. So that tells us our entrance is over here. And we can see the little signs. So we can boost and get over really quick. Oh yeah, and I have an auto dock, so I'm just going to request docking.
Landing permission granted. Proceed to landing.
I may or may not give it over to the auto dock. Sometimes auto dock is super slow. And it'll take you out and around. I'm probably just going to change to optimal, 50% throttle. And then I'm just going to take her in manually. I'll use the auto dock once I'm through the slot. This thing is such a beast. I don't even think the thrusters are engineered on it. They might be, but... Or they might be low-grade engineered only. Okay, so we're taking her in manually. Pad 2. Look at our compass, and pad 2 is below us. Oh, there's pad 2. And I'm going to hit the auto dock. And it should just pop us right on it. Alright. Get gas. You don't really have to get gas, but whatever. I don't carry a fuel scoop on my cargo ships, usually. Go up to commodities. We'll go to sell. Look for the Cryolite. There it is. Boom. So total income, 22.2 million. And profit, 14.2 million. Sell. There you go. So that was an easy 14 million. If you're going to make this loop, you could always bookmark it So go to your system map, highlight the station, and bookmark it. And the reason you do that, so if we launch, I can just come up here, find that Archimedes prospect, that was our sell spot, or our buy spot, boom, and I'm jumping right back, 2 jumps on empty, and that's going to take me right back. You know, like I said, you could have checked for some sellable commodities, things like that, but you're not going to make as much as you're making the Cryolite, so you're better off just to hurry up and do that. Alright, so anyhow, while the auto launch waits in queue, I'm going to sign out. You guys have a good night.